Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing a slightly different video. I'm kind of just going to explain myself. So in my last video, my buddy and I talked about Baker Mayfield, the Falcons, and Aaron Rodgers, and I was very critical of Baker Mayfield, and I have been since he got into the NFL. And I'd kind of like to explain that a little bit. I might make this a series if news doesn't happen. I'm trying to upload daily, and if no news happens, then I have to come up with new ideas on the fly. And yeah, I think that Baker is a very interesting case. Obviously, I don't hate him. Like, get one thing clear. I don't think he's an awful human being, but he's very unlikable, and I think that as an athlete, that can help or hurt you. Obviously, I'm a big boxing fan. I think Floyd being hated really made his career, or Connor being hated recently made his career, and it's kind of been like a theatrical thing. But when it comes to football, I always think that your quarterback has to be a unifying figure. It's like your captain on a hockey team, or that, or your catcher on a baseball team. They're just a solid dude all around, and they're going to be a uniting factor. They're going to be a leader out there. And when I look at Baker and I look at the Browns as a whole, I don't see many leaders. I see a lot of individuals. And I think that that would work, especially with your skill players, if you had a good unifying factor. And Baker just isn't one of them. He didn't have great success in college. When I consider success in college, especially for a school like Oklahoma, I feel like you should make at least the national championship game with a quarterback like Baker Mayfield in college. Um, yeah, I especially with Bama and LSU having pretty mediocre quarterbacks back when Baker was in college. So and two and Trevor Lawrence hadn't developed yet. Um, so I've always been low on Baker. I thought, yeah, he's a very accurate passer. Yeah, he can move a little bit, but he he comes off as extremely arrogant, which can be a good thing, but he isn't a leader, and I don't want to criticize his leadership skills because obviously I don't play with him, but just from the offset, he looks like he's just out there for himself, and it's clear because his stats sometimes look great, but the Browns don't win games, or he throws a lot of interceptions, which leads me to believe that is either he's terrible at football or his communication with his wide receivers isn't great. So I also don't like Baker because of what I said before is he's just extremely unlikable, and I think that as a quarterback, the best quarterbacks in history, apart from rival fans obviously, are extremely likable dudes. Like Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady obviously isn't likable because of the wins, but he's a likable dude. Peyton Manning, Brett Favre, John Elway, Troy Aikman, like these guys are extremely likable dudes, and um, I find that a lot of unlikable quarterbacks don't really have Super Bowl success. Everyone loves Patrick Mahomes. Everyone loves. Everyone loved the Joe Flacco story at the time. Everyone loved Colin Kaepernick, and when he got to the Super Bowl, and I find that playoff success normally only happens with a likable quarterback. Back when Cam was winning MVPs, he was an extremely likable guy, and that's just not Baker. And there's been plenty of unlikable guys in the NFL. I think Michael Vick is a great example of that. Obviously, he had his off the field issue, which uh, ruined his career. Before that, he was an extremely likable dude, revolutionized the position, but after that, he was a shell of himself because of what he had done off the field and how that hurt his reputation and hurt his leadership ability. And that shit happens. Baker obviously had an incident in college. And for most positions, that wouldn't matter, especially in football. And I think quarterback is the one position where if you have off the field issues, it matters a hell of a lot more than any other position because we've seen successful wide receivers have off the field issues. We've seen successful running backs have plenty of off the field issues, defensive players. Like, I feel like the only one that is still successful and has had off the field issues is Big Ben. And Big Ben hasn't done anything for about 10 years. And that's when he won a Super Bowl. So I do struggle with Baker a lot. Obviously, I'd like to hear what you guys think in the comments. And please feel free to disagree with me. I'll have dialogue. Um, Baker isn't in like when I think about Baker, I just think of a guy who seems he has like a little man complex, if you know what I mean. Like he always needs to prove that he's right. Always needs to be the one to get the credit. Always needs to be that person. And it's a team sport and you're not always going to get credit. Sometimes it's going to be your defense. Myles Garrett, great defensive player. Denzel Ward, great defensive player. Sometimes it's going to be your defense who gets credit. Sometimes it's going to be your coach. Sometimes it's going to be Odell Beckham Jr., who's an amazing wide receiver, or Jarvis Landry, who gets catches for days. Like, or your running game, like Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt this year. Like, those guys are going to get the credit, not you, because they deserve it sometimes. And that's another thing that drives me mental about athletes is that they constantly need credit. I think we saw that in the last dance with the GM of the Bulls. And if you're constantly striving for credit, you're not going to be successful as a team. I think that the term system quarterback is overused, but system quarterbacks are pretty damn good. Did you see Matt Ryan this week? Like he was amazing this week, and he's been termed a system quarterback. There's plenty of quarterbacks. Tom Brady's probably a system quarterback, not gonna lie, but he's the most successful quarterback ever. So, I'm struggling with Baker. Obviously, he's a very polarized figure. I have plenty other athletes I have problems with. Um, but yeah, I think Baker's the one who sticks out most to me, especially in football, especially with the week ending. I wanted to cover some more football, get more football out on this channel, especially with how boring the Broncos have been. And yeah, please like and subscribe if you like this. If you want this to be a channel, please let me know in the comments or like. Um, and let me know what you think of Baker in the comments. I think that obviously, I just said what I think, but I think he needs an ass whooping, if I'm honest. He needs someone, he needs a tough coach. He needs something to like straighten him out, make him a team player, and quash that ego if the Browns are going to be successful. So, yeah.